Well, I can officially say this is the most requested video I've ever made. To be fair, it's the only video anyone has ever requested I make, but hey, it's still something. Yes, today I will be ranking all the songs from the first The World Ends With You game. This soundtrack is really something special and includes not only some of my favorite video game songs, but some of my all-time favorite songs, period. I don't want to rehash too much of what I said in the intro to the Neo TWEWY video, but I do want to make sure to shout out Takahiro Ishimoto for his incredible work on this soundtrack. Without him, I'm sure the soundtrack wouldn't be even close to what we ended up getting. While I had many positive things to say about Neo's soundtrack, there is a magic that the original soundtrack had that Neo wasn't quite able to capture, in part because it borrows from so many of the original songs. I want to keep this intro relatively brief, but I do have to make a note about the songs that will actually appear on this list. If you aren't aware, the original World Ends With You has been released 3 different times, with new songs added each time. I chose only to use the songs featured in the DS version and the solo remix that was released on mobile, as those are the songs I'm most familiar with, and the songs from the Switch version were never released officially. I hope that everyone's favorites still get represented on the list. I tried to include a solid amount without ranking all 90-something songs that were in Final Remix. And speaking of Final Remix, I'll be using those songs throughout the video, and that's just because I think they sound nice. Okay, I think that's enough house cleaning. Let's make our boy Show proud and get into the numbers. Ending up in an unfortunate last place, it's Forebode! Golf claps, everybody! Golf claps! Deciding which song to put in last wasn't too tough here. Forebode is one of those super quiet and low-key tracks, which I've gone on record saying that those aren't the type of songs people come to TWEWY for. Not to mention this song is uber repetitive. It feels like the same piano loop over and over again with not much other instrumentation. Being the most repetitive and in my opinion the least hyped song is enough for me to justify putting it in last. Alright, this one is a bit tricky to talk about because of some serious differences between the original and the remastered version. See, what you're listening to now is the new version, which sounds decent. Usually the new versions sound really similar to the original, yet they completely changed this one when remastering it. Honestly, this was a good thing. I think the original was rather annoying. Here, let me play a few seconds of it so you know what I'm talking about. If I was ranking that on its own, I would definitely put that in last place, but since the remix version is a significant improvement, I figured it could be bumped up at least one place higher. Welcome back to Slow Piano Song City, home of many of my least favorite tracks. Yep, Despair is another song similar to Forebode, but I do think it's a slight improvement over the former. It's still incredibly repetitive, but the song seems to have a bit more going for it musically. There's a bit of violin work in the background that comes in and out, which is actually quite nice. Not really anything else positive to say about the song, so let's just leave it at that and move on. I would make another joke about Slow Piano Song City, but I'm pretty sure there's not actually any piano in this one. Although it does fit in that same group of slow songs, I actually don't mind this one too much, mostly because I find the song carries a lot of emotional power. It really works when played behind the more serious moments in the game, but taken on its own, the song isn't that impressive. The violin carries the whole song, with not much to back it up. It sounds really nice, but gets stale super quick. It is really nice sounding violin though, it just needs a bit more to make it something I would want to listen to more often. I didn't originally envision putting this song so low, as the song always stuck out to me in my mind as being pretty iconic. I think it just stuck in my mind because it's one of the songs you hear super early on, because when listening to it on its own, I realized that the song is just so freaking repetitive. The instrumentation loops after like 5 seconds, and I find the vocals to be a bit irritating, because of course the vocals are super repetitive as well. This song could be even lower with how much it gets on my nerves now, but I suppose there's a bit of leftover cognitive bias. It really didn't sound so bad when actually playing the game. It's also slightly more upbeat than the others we've talked about so far, so that's definitely a plus in my book. Well, we're only like 6 entries in, and I can already say that the songs are getting better. Let's start with the positives. I think the song embodies a lot of the funkiness found in some of the game's best songs, and it's got a really fun feel to it. Unfortunately, we return to the buzzword for the bottom half of this list, and that word is repetitive. Like, the song is repetitive, not that the word is repetitive. Although, I suppose my constant use of the word repetitive makes it repetitive. Anyways, I would have liked to have seen a bit more diversity in this song. It changes up a bit, but not enough to keep my interest for too long. It's a good beat, there's just other songs that do it way better. This is the first of TWEWY's shop themes to appear on the list, and spoiler alert, you'll be seeing the others pretty soon as well. I do like the shop themes in this game. They're all pretty simple, but they tend to blend in my head a little bit, which makes them hard to rank. This is why it's so nice that Neo only had one shop theme. They can't blend in my head if there's only one of them. I decided to put this one lowest of the three because I personally think it has the least going for it. It's slightly less funky than the others and a bit more simple instrumentally. The change up in the middle is pretty nice though. This song just feels like Economical Shoppers, but slightly more interesting. The beat isn't exactly the same, but it's definitely close enough to make the comparison. This song goes one spot higher because it seems more upbeat. Unrelated to the musical aspects, but I always seem to want to write this song as, is it fashionable? Like the title is asking a question, as opposed to the actual statement in the title. There's probably some snarky philosophical comment to be made here, but I'm not thinking of anything, and this song isn't high enough on the list to be worth the extra thought, so on to the next one we go. This song totally captures the TWEWY vibe, if you know what I mean by that. I think it has potential to be a much better song, but unfortunately we do have to bring up the buzzword again. Yep, I find this song to be way too repetitive. If it changed up a bit more throughout the song, I would definitely like it a bit more, but it just kind of loops the same beat for a couple minutes. Nothing that I can't stand listening to, it just gets old kind of fast. I do like the robotic voice in the background. It gives the song unique identity. Black Market will always be the shop theme for me. There's not much to this one, as is the case with all the shop themes, but the beat on this one is really memorable and just always sticks in my brain for some reason. This is one of the songs that got a pretty major glow up in the Switch version. They had a whole new part alongside some extra background instruments that really helps to keep the song fresh. It's unfortunately still pretty short, but a fun listen regardless. This song makes for perfect minigame music. It's a bit of an outlier on the soundtrack because there's not really another song that sounds anything like this, but I still really like how it sounds. Not a song I would want to listen to super often, but it works really well in the background of short tin pin slammer games, and helps keep the energy up. And also, I know the song is referred to as Slam Brothers, but the official soundtrack uses the name Slash and Slash. Not sure which is technically correct. As long as we all know it's the tin pin theme, I'm sure there won't be any confusion. I really like how this one sounds. It's simultaneously really fun sounding, but also kind of stressful in a way. No clue if that makes sense, but regardless, I think this one is really good. Still pretty short, but the song never really gets boring because the beat changes up midway through, and if you haven't figured it out yet, that's something I'm a big fan of. Really solid song, and one of the better instrumentals on the soundtrack. Starting to run out of things to say about these instrumental songs, so let's just keep this one brief and move on to the next one. The title for this one really is fitting. This song is definitely noisy, but in a good way that is. I know not everybody vibes with this kind of music, but this kind of sound brings some great energy and creates a certain uneasy atmosphere. And this song has a great beat change at the end, so you know that's another plus for me. Another really solid instrumental that works well for intense moments and makes the song fun to listen to on its own as well. Hard to believe that we're 14 entries in and we're only now getting to our first fully vocal song. I know they're the type of song the soundtrack is known for, but it's still impressive that the lowest ranked vocal song is this high up. So yeah, let's talk about this one and why I ranked it below the others. To be honest, I used to really like this song, but listening to it more while writing for this video, I just don't think it's quite as good as the others. A lot of it comes down to the vocalist who sings this song. Not to throw any shade at her directly, but she's just missing a bit of the pizzazz that the other singers bring to their songs. The instrumental for this song is nice. It's pretty simple but enjoyable to listen to. Complaints aside, this is still a really good song, but I gotta be pedantic to justify the placement. All the songs I'll be talking about from this point on are all songs I really enjoy and listen to frequently, so keep that in mind if one of your favorites doesn't make it to the top of my list. Part of me really wanted to put this song higher, but I just couldn't do it in good faith. This song is borderline addictive, with an incredibly catchy bass lick and really fun vocals, even though there aren't really any words. Unfortunately, there's barely anything to this song. Once the beat kicks in, it's pretty much a 15-second loop. Heck, the original version is only 34 seconds long. As catchy as it is, it's just too short to be put any higher. Even a super catchy song can get boring if it loops too fast. I'm finding it a bit hard to explain why I don't like this song too much. On paper, it should be a song I really like. I tend to be a big fan of rock songs like this, as you'll see later, but for some reason this one doesn't quite do it for me. I do really like the singer on this one, and the song's got a good energy to it. As I said with Long Dream, this is still a really good song, it just doesn't stand out to me as a favorite from the soundtrack. Every TWEWY player has one song that they form a special bond with because they use it as their menu music. Even if you mix it up frequently, I'm sure everyone still has one song that stands out above the rest. That's part of the reason why I have such an affinity for this song, of course paired with the fact that I think the song is super good. It's an admittedly simple track, but I find it to be super catchy and it oozes that TWEWY style I'm a big fan of. There's a lot of different pieces to this song, like the record scratchy sound, violins in the background, and several old school sounding vocal samples that all come together to make something fun. Sure, it's pretty short, but it worked perfectly in quick bursts while I was popping in the menu for something. This song is certainly something. If you haven't yet had the pleasure of reading the lyrics to this song for the first time, I'll tell you it's certainly an experience. Definitely not the song you'll want to be blasting with your parents in the room. Weirdly sexual lyrics aside, this song is super catchy. It's a standard beat that sounds like something out of a dance song from the 90s. Simple, but effective. I do like the vocals on this song too, and there's a lot of unique parts to keep the song interesting. I would like this song even more if the lyrics didn't make me slightly uncomfortable every time I heard it. I gotta wonder whose idea that was. This is the credit song they added for the mobile port of the game. I'll admit, it's no lullaby for you, but I still think it's a really nice song. It has a really neat way of building itself up as the song goes along, which is something I always find really satisfying. The song sounds really good as it nears the end, with booming drums and stellar vocals, before quieting down right before the finish. This does leave the first half of the song feeling a bit boring by comparison, but it's a worthwhile sacrifice in my opinion. I find the chorus of this song gets stuck in my head quite a bit, which definitely means the song is doing something right. I'm a sucker for a good synth pop song, and this definitely fits that definition. I like how the song has a few clearly defined parts. There's a sound that continues through the whole song, but there's also a few different melodies that accompany it that switch out throughout the song. The vocals here are really nice too. I like the part at the end where they strip away the instrumental and we just get to hear the singer. I realize that I've said nothing but positive things about a song only ranked 19th, and that's because we're already entering the territory where the songs are so good, I just can't think of a critique. It's a great song, I just simply like some of the other songs better. This was always one of my favorite songs to hear when walking around in the game. It sounds kinda ominous, but also brings enough energy to keep the track from being boring. I really like the mix of the piano and the record scratch sounds. It creates a really nice vibe that isn't found anywhere else on the soundtrack. This is a song that I think really showcases what makes the soundtrack so great, and it is a standout for me in the instrumental category. I feel like I've gained more appreciation for this song since they remixed it in Neo. I didn't always love the original, but I was a big fan of the rock-style remix. Rather than making the original feel obsolete, I actually really enjoy coming back and hearing this song in a more traditional hip-hop sound. It's super funky, and I think both the Japanese and English versions bring something unique to the table. The guy who does the rap has a really nice flow, and the old school beat complements the song really well. This is just one of those songs that oozes style. You gotta respect it for that. For most people, this will be the first thing that you hear when you start up the game for the first time, and I find that this song makes a great first impression. It starts out with a rough, distorted piano kind of sound, but the song keeps evolving as it goes, adding in more and more instruments to the beat. It's actually really impressive how many layers are present in the song by the end. You can hear 2 different types of guitar, drums, piano, and whatever that honky sound is, I'm legitimately unsure how to properly describe it. These are all pieces you will hear frequently throughout the game, which makes it feel like a little taste of everything still to come. Easily worthy of the title of Best Instrumental Track in the game. This is a classic TWEWY rock jam right here. While it's not my favorite rock sounding song on the soundtrack, I still have a great appreciation for it. It makes for a great battle song, and it's always really hype when the chorus kicks in. On the topic of hype moments, I also wanted to mention the guitar solo in the middle and the way the drums kick in for the final chorus. It checks all the boxes for a great rock song, but I'm gonna be honest, the singer isn't my favorite. That's probably what holds it back from being higher up on the list with some of the other rock songs, but regardless, it's a really small complaint. This song still totally slaps. I always found the song to be kinda odd. It definitely stood out to me after hearing it for the first time because it's just so in your face. Of course, being odd doesn't make it bad. This song is super good. It really feels like the singer is giving everything she has on this track, reaching incredible highs as the song reaches its end. Alongside the unique flair the singer brings to the song is an almost disco-sounding backing track, which is a sound not present anywhere else in the soundtrack. Special mention to the guitars that kick in when verse 2 starts. Changing up a verse the second time around is never a bad idea in my opinion. Oh, and the key change at the end of the song? Mwah! Chef's kiss. I know I've been throwing around the word unique a lot, especially to describe these higher entries, but I think Ooh Parts might earn the title of being the uniquest. I'm not even sure how to describe the song. It's kinda rap, kinda pop. Nevertheless, it's a great duet between two singers. Weirdly enough, this is the only time that happens on the soundtrack. There's a lot of strange oddities to the song, most notably the weird, high-pitched voice that comes in at the halfway point of the song, and also the fact that the lyrics make absolutely no sense. On that note though, I actually discovered something really cool about this song that I wasn't aware of before making this video. So the name Ooh Parts is a term that refers to an out-of-place artifact, an artifact found in a place that doesn't quite belong. They chose to name this song after that because the song features all sorts of lyrics pulled directly from TWEWY's other songs, which is probably why the lyrics made so little sense. A lot of the reused lyrics are in Japanese, but if you keep an ear out, you can definitely pick out familiar lines. Not sure if this is common knowledge or not, but I just thought that was so cool. Anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. On to the next entry. This is one of those songs that just makes me feel happy when listening to it. I mentioned earlier how I liked a good synth pop song, and this song combines great synth work with a really fun electric guitar beat. Everything seems to flow so well here, which always makes for a great listen. The lyrics of this song are a standout as well. Nothing groundbreaking, just really nice. As a side note, I always feel like the singer sounds really young even though she wasn't. She's no younger than 16 when she recorded this, and even though that's still pretty young, I swear she sounds younger. It doesn't affect my enjoyment of the song or anything. I just find that interesting. From the first few seconds of the song, you can already tell you're in for something special. The song just radiates energy, and I really love the singer on this one. I can't tell if it's the singer they got or just a preset vocal sample, as I can't find anyone credited for it. Regardless, the instrumental carries the song on its own right. It's only in the final remix version, but the strings they added are stellar. Despite being another song that's pretty short, I always have a good time listening to this one. Really fun to sing along to. And for those of you who might not know, I'm pretty confident he says fat with a PH, which if you didn't know means excellent or gratifying. Consider yourself educated. Unless you already knew that. Then you can consider yourself reminded, I guess. Yeah. Hybrid is a song that always comes to mind when I think of a battle theme from this game. You all already know I love the rock style songs, and this one is a dang good one. It has a great use of guitar and drums, with a classic chorus that comes with another great vocal performance. The absolute cherry on top for the song is the breakdown right before the last chorus, where the instruments all cut out except for the newly added piano, and the vocalist just gets to carry the song for a little bit. Then the instruments kick back in and you get one more hype chorus to finish things off. The ending part of the song makes it so much more memorable for me, a perfect addition to a great rock jam. Just as I was talking about how Hybrid was such a great rock song, Emptiness and just had to come in and one-up it in every way. It's got better guitars, stronger drums, and just a cooler energy in general. Gonna be honest though, I've never been able to understand any of what the singer is saying. I wasn't even sure if it was in English for the longest time. It doesn't change the fact that the song absolutely rocks, and it's easily one of the most hyped songs on the soundtrack. It unfortunately gets the short end of the stick in a lot of ways though. It's one of the only TWEWY songs you can't find on Spotify, and it's still referred to as No Name on iTunes, even though the song most certainly has a name. Maybe one day the song will get the treatment it deserves. And the award for most creative song title goes to the song! 3 Minutes Clapping is a really fun title, but it's always bugged me that the song is actually 3 minutes and 4 seconds. I mean, they really should have called it approximately 3 minutes clapping. Though actually there's less than 3 minutes worth of clapping because clapping doesn't actually start till 15 seconds in, so they really should have called it significantly less than 3 minutes clapping. Or if you wanted to be more accurate, could have called it 2 minutes and 49 seconds clapping. Since the song is 3 minutes and 4 seconds long, but you subtract 15, you get 2 minutes and 49 seconds. But wait, the clapping cuts out 8 seconds before the end of the song, so that changes to be 2 minutes and 41 seconds of clapping. Wait. Don't fade me out. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop!
You've seen the foundation.
Here we have arguably the most funky track on the soundtrack. This song delivers us another great hip-hop vibe and some more killer raps. And yes, as far as I can tell, the lyrics are pretty much nonsensical, yet somehow the song still pulls it off. Something about the way the rapper so effortlessly strings together some really complicated words sounds really good. Not only does the song feature a great hip-hop beat in its own right, but it simultaneously keeps that TWEWY flair alive through the use of strings and other odd sounds. If this song doesn't make you want to rise up like a vortex cortex, then I don't know what to tell you. I see this song as the perfect combination of vocals and instrumentation. It's another one that's hard to describe, but everything just works. The vocalist, who goes by Stephanie, only did vocals for some songs from the mobile version, but clearly the sound team liked working with her because they brought her back a bunch at Neo. I can see why though. Her vocal performance is very impressive, bringing some incredible high notes that you don't see in a lot of the other songs we've talked about. The backing track is just as good, with a combination of synths and guitars that create somewhat of a somber feeling. It might not be the most energetic track, but it's super catchy. The lyrics deserve a mention as well. Certain lines like, "I've got this under control, so just shut your mouth," add some great flavor to the song. Yes, it's finally time to talk about the Funny Math Man song. This is easily the hardest rock we have on the soundtrack, and even though I don't always love super heavy rock songs, this one is really hard to dislike. With heavy guitars, heavy drums, and vocals that just radiate energy, this song just makes you want to bob your head and sing along with the chorus at the top of your lungs. Special mention to the pre-chorus, where they layer 2 levels of vocals. I always love it when songs do that. There's some great songs in the opening parts of this game, but this was the song that made me fall in love with the soundtrack. I'm not even sure how to describe the song. I couldn't tell you what genre it falls under, but whatever they did, it sounds magical. The vocals with the filter over them also help to make this unique song stand out even more. I've talked about songs that have nonsense lyrics, but this one is probably the nonsensiest. It's been over 10 years, and I still have no idea why the Psycho Cane is so keen, or why we need more candy canes. I don't think they could have chosen a better song to serve as the main theme. It perfectly represents the kind of sound that makes this soundtrack work so well. I think this is one of the most underrated songs to come out of these games. I feel like I never see people talk about this song. I find it to be an absolutely incredible track that gets me hyped every time I listen to it. The guitar riff that drives the song is probably my favorite use of guitar in the whole soundtrack. I really love how it sounds. I also feel like they give more of a focus to the drums on this song than you find on other songs here, which I'm a massive fan of. Good drumming always makes a song better in my opinion. And then there's even a full-on key change right before the chorus, which sounds incredible as well. Once you add in another great performance from Stephanie, this song just starts to reach pure bliss territory. If you haven't heard the song before, I highly encourage you to check it out after we're done here. Despite all that, there are still 2 songs ranked higher than this one. Let's see what's next.
Tell me who you are and who you were. How much have you been paid?
If you've been paying attention, you'll notice that my favorite songs all include elements of rap and rock. So of course the song that combines both of those sounds have ranked this highly. And yes, I'm pretty sure you've all pieced together what number 1 is, but I'll have you know this song is pretty dang close. It starts out with a more chill vibe led by a piano and a sax sounding instrument, and then bam, the chorus hits and we're in a rock song. The rapping throughout the song is what ties everything together. The guy singing has a great flow, and his energy perfectly matches the energy of the song as it goes along. I love a song with versatility, and this song has more versatility than any other on the soundtrack. This song is just cool. I feel like it's one of those mic drop type songs and just oozes attitude and style, which are both things that suit this game perfectly. This song is so many things. Iconic, memorable, full of emotion, and absolutely deserving of the number 1 spot. Sure, it doesn't rock as hard as a song like Transformation, and it doesn't have the funky fresh vibes of a thing like Twister, but everything this song does bring to the table is masterful. The vocals are stellar and carry the emotion of this song perfectly. The lyrics are deep and work great within the context of the game. And the instrumental ties it all together with incredible synth work and a surprising amount of diversity with the other instruments changing throughout the song. I've had this song as my ringtone for the past few years, because of course I do. It's not just because of the funny wordplay, but because the song is just that good. Every time I hear the song, it just makes me feel all of the emotions of getting to experience the game for the first time. And I think that's really something special. And there you have it, we've reached the end of this ranking video. Of course, I would love to hear what you all think. Go to the comments and tell me your favorites, your least favorites, and maybe even what you thought about some of the things I said. This was another really fun ranking to put together. I love being able to share my thoughts about the soundtrack that I enjoy so much. And, of course, I have to thank everyone who watched my Neo ranking video. I never thought in a million years that many people would tune in to hear my silly thoughts about a video game soundtrack. Every nice comment just made my day, and it just felt so nice knowing that people were watching something that I put so much effort into. And if you are someone who did watch that Neo video, thanks for coming back. I really hope you enjoyed this one too. And if you're new here and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I made a video just like this one for Neo. You'll see that little box pop up, and you can go over there when I'm done talking. I'm totally down to make more The World Ends With You content if that's something people will enjoy, so let me know if there's something you want me to rank or talk about, and I'll try to make that happen. Anyways, I think that's enough for me. Thank you so much for watching today. Feel free to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. TWEWY fans, y'all are the best. Peace.